Hey everyone, today we've got a new project to tackle. This is my 87 Suzuki Samurai Rock crawler, and we just finished putting a full propane kit on this thing, and I've got a few coolant leaks at the heater core to figure out and get fixed up. And it is freezing cold outside, and I want to put it in the building. But as you can see, this thing is super tall and it won't fit through the doors. It's like 8 inches too tall to make it through that door. It would fit through this door, but I can't get it angled in enough because we've got these Ford 1-ton axles sitting here and Elijah's 4Runner, so I can't pull it in and back it over. So what I'm gonna do is I've got another Toyota truck sitting outside that's got some stock wheels and tires on it, because these are Toyota axles, so the bolt pattern or the lug patterns will work. So I'm going to go out here and snag those wheels and tires off of that truck and put it on cinder blocks, get these off so I can pull this Samurai in the building, take care of our coolant leaks, and while I'm in there, I'll pull out my tanks, get some welding blankets down, and finish making my patch panels for my tubs that I made. So stay tuned for that. I'll put y'all on a little time lapse pulling these wheels and tires off, and then once we get it in there, I'll go into more depth and show you what we're gonna do to get this thing ready. So get everything knocked out before I send it off to have a cage put in it. All we got left really here to do is, like I said, fix that little leak, put a throttle bracket on for a 3K carburetor, and fix these little patch panels, and just sort of go over these tubs and spray a little bit of primer on them so they don't get rusty. Once we get the cage built for this thing, we're doing sort of a simple cage. We're using this factory bar because it's pretty thick, and where I cut it down here to cut the body out, we're going to sleeve it and run it to the frame instead of having it tied to the body. And then we'll run a bar somewhere in here, out and around across there. That way when we put our race seats in, we'll have something to hook our harnesses to. And we'll run a bar all the way around here so we can put a platform or whatever if we want to strap stuff down, or we're going to be camping out of this thing or doing long trails. And then, of course, we'll do our bar around the windshield. It goes down to the floor and comes back through here and connects. So everything's tied together and safe. And we did keep the factory seat belts for if we're just riding or whatever, and that way, you know, we can throw the harnesses on if we're getting into some sketchy territory or whatever. But yeah, everything should work out pretty good. But I like to get these last couple things took care of before I send it off. I would build the cage myself, but I don't have the money to go buy a tubing bender, and that's the only thing. So I'd rather just spend a little bit of money, have some professionals do it, knock it out in a timely manner. That way all I got to do is throw some seats in it. And then really after that, the only things left to do on this is build some towers in the back, throw some shocks on. I've already got everything figured out in the front. My frame's plated and got big shock mounts, so we'll just, I've already got my shock measurements. All I got to do is order shocks for the front. Like I said, order shocks for the back, throw some electric power steering on it, and maybe a radio, and it's ready to roll again. So it will like this. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not as comfortable, you know, not having shocks, and it doesn't feel right, you know, not having a cage in it. So we're just trying to knock out all these little things to get it back in the woods when it warms up. So I'm going to get all this stuff out of the way, get my F-250 out of the way, and clean the shop up a little bit, and we'll talk back at you. The first time my Samurai's been able to fit in here in like 2 years. That's crazy. So we've got the Samurai in the garage, and I'm gonna show you a little bit of what we're gonna be doing. So when we got rid of the carburetor and all the wiring, you pull the carb off, gets rid of all the junk and vacuum hoses and stuff on the intake. You get to cut a whole bunch of stuff out of your harness to where there's only like 3 or 4 wires left. What we're going to be doing today, this is the solenoid for my propane regulator, and I just put jumpers to these bulkheads because I've got relocated batteries. They're in the back. Just put the jumpers on the bulkheads to see if it would run. So what we're going to do is take and run these wires all the way across here into the cab and put the hot on a ATA circuit. Nobody says that's the right way to do it. I sort of want to do the ATA circuit because that'll really be the only thing I'll be running with an ATA circuit. And if this thing goes bad, I want to be able to know, and it's easier to diagnose. You know, you can pull the ATA circuit out and test different things with it being out. So I'll just run an ATA circuit with this and ground it somewhere in here. We're going to get that taken care of and get these last couple little things buttoned up. This stuff sort of just needs zip tied. It's all organized, but it just looks like crap because these are here and this is just hanging. We're going to get this mounted up somewhere and get these diff vents ran. I'll show you a cool little trick with those. We'll use this little bit of space right here, get rid of these connectors because none of this stuff is on this anymore, and we'll build us a bracket and put weed eater or like small engine fuel filters up here in the bracket and run all the diff vents up to there. That way they're not just all zip tied here together and just look trashy. So it'll be the front diff, rear diff, transmission transfer case vents will all come up through here and be ran on a block, and keeps them organized, keeps them out of the way. That, and a lot of times if you got the filters on there, you're not really getting a whole lot of the smell in the cab. Next thing, I've already made one patch panel right here. So we're gonna throw these patch panels on here. I'm gonna make another one. Let's see. I'll make another one for the other side because they're just a tiny little bit different, and I want them to sort of look smooth and look factory right here. I am going to put adjustable seats in. The seats will be fixed, but they will have sliders on them. So if somebody else wants to hop in this thing or whatever and piddle around with it, they can and reach the pedals and stuff. I'm 6'3", so I'd like to have my seat back a little ways, but they will work with these panels made the way they are. So I'll make another one for that side. Fills in the gap right here. I'll eventually build panels for this as well, and clean some more of this stuff up. We'll eventually also cut this bump stop bracket off because I don't see us using that at all. And we can plate this frame right here, and maybe even if we don't like our shocks angled, we might even eventually put like a tower right here and just build shocks right in here, because we're going to have such a wide offset. This thing with those Maxxis 35s on it and that offset of wheel is as wide as a stock F250 So we will be able to put shocks on the outside. Also, let's see here. There is some holes back here. We're gonna put little pieces in here to cover those up. That way we're not, you know, if we run through a puddle or something, it's not gonna be spraying up in here. And eventually we're gonna pull all this stuff back out and dynamat all this and bed liner it in here. But for now, we're just getting everything together, and then eventually we'll bed liner it all in here and make it nice and pretty. And so that's what we're gonna do today. Well, we got the Sammy out. Got everything buttoned up. I just threw a seat in it to get it over to the place we're getting the cage put in it at, but everything's all buttoned up. I went and primered all this because this year we're not going to worry about none of the bodywork stuff. We'll do all that next year after wheeling season's over, but we got her cleaned up a little bit. Still needs a few things, but it's good enough to go get a cage put in it and driving. I wanted to show y'all. So on this propane setup, it's super easy. If you, instead of trying to make a bracket or whatever, you just order one from Certified Machine, but you will need to modify it. If you just take and sort of let's see, if you just sort of take and make a mark, sort of transitioning from here to here, and drill you a 5/16 hole in this, and then take your grinder and run a little cut up through here, like over here, that'll work just great. And then, you know, if anything happens or you put a stock carb back on it or whatever, you've already got, or you've put a 3K on it, you've already got your other hole. So all that'll work. I still have to put all this on the ATA circuit. I won't do that on camera. That'll be easy peasy. You just go and find a fuse with 12 volt keyed power, run that to that, and then run your ground to a ground, and then that's there. So yeah, that's all together. I still got to put the 5-leaf packs in the rear to stiffen it up a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, and the Samurai's facing downhill right now, but it still sort of looks like it's a little squatted. So I got to put the 5-leaf packs in the rear and then build a mount, or put a bar across the frame this way, and make it to where I can put shock mounts on it to get some shocks on the rear, because the rear ain't got no shocks. I ended up finding they could stand, the body of the shock could stand to be about 1 inch or 2 shorter, but I don't have a whole lot of up travel. I have a lot of droop. But this is actually about the perfect measurement shock to fit in here. And I found these in the building. I forgot I had them. And yeah, so we got those Bilsteins on there. Didn't give nothing for them. I think somebody gave them to me, or I got them off of another rig that I had a couple years ago. But yeah, it's all coming together. I want to tell y'all that we'll probably be a little slow because nobody has any parts for this. The Cabrio, which y'all have seen in the video before this, nobody has any parts for this. So I'm sort of waiting to be able to order stuff to finish it up, put the 180 in it. This thing, it could be gone for 2 days. It could be gone for 2 months. I don't really know how long it's going to take to put the cage in. They're doing a couple other things for me too. They're going to build me a panhard bar because it steers over the axles, and we don't want that. After it gets back, all we got to do is throw some race seats in it, electric power steering, and get the blower motor to turn on, and this thing's done for now, or good enough for wheeling season this year. Then next year we'll get it sandblasted and painted, and make it real nice and presentable. But yeah, so we'll keep everybody updated on this. If it gets back in a timely manner, we'll go ahead and show you throwing all the rest of the stuff on it, and we might take it on a little short trip and wheel it for you guys. So yep, stay tuned for that.
That's just as good as them trucks that old man was building over at Ride.
Yeah. Not bad for a kid. Pep Dog brought his little Toyota over. Come on! He's gonna take her through the woods. Heck yeah.